Let's say you want to populate your scene with a whole lot of trees. Even placing 20 or 30 trees manually would be a tedious process. This is where Object Paint can come in very handy. In this exercise, we're going to plant trees around our landscape using Object Paint. Click on the Application button. From the menu, click Open. Navigate to the Chapter 3 subdirectory and open the file objectpaint01.max. When the file opens, you'll see our landscape with our town and two small trees off to the bottom right. In the ribbon, click on the Object Paint tab. The first thing we'll need to do is set some parameters. We need to select the objects we're going to be painting with, and we're going to set the initial spacing and alignment. To select the objects, we're going to use the Edit Object List option in the Paint Objects panel. Go ahead and click on the Edit Object List button. In the viewport, select both the Elm 001 and Oak 001 objects, and then click on the Add Selected button in the Paint Objects dialog. Now you'll see them listed in the upper section of the Paint Objects dialog. Go ahead and close the dialog box. In the Object drop-down, choose the option All, Randomly. This will paint with all the objects and place them randomly along the paint stroke. In the Perspective viewport, click on the Landscape 01 object. This is an editable poly object and can be used with the Object Paint tools available in the Graphite Modeling ribbon. In the Paint Objects panel, click on the drop-down next to the Paint On option and choose the Selected Objects option from the drop-down list. This will ensure that we only paint on this landscape. In the Brush Settings panel, click the down arrow to the right-hand side of the Align option. Uncheck the Align to Normal option. This will keep the trees growing straight up. Next, we need to set the spacing. This is the distance between each tree. In the spacing value entry, set the value to a value of 800 and then press Enter. Let's set the Z rotation to be random so that the trees are not aligned in the same direction. In the Brush Settings panel, Rotate Settings section, click the down arrow to the right side of the Rotate Z option. Check the Random Z checkbox. Now let's set up so that all the trees do not get drawn at the same scale. Some trees will be taller, some will be short. In the Brush Settings panel, Scale Settings section, click on the Scale Type drop-down and choose Random from the list. Set the Scale Random X Range low value to a value of 90 and then press Enter. Then set the high value to a value of 110 and then press Enter. Now we're ready to paint our trees onto our landscape. In the Paint Objects panel, click the Paint button to begin painting. On the landscape, click and drag to paint the trees. One thing you'll notice about the trees is that they follow the mouse along the painted path. While this can work, we want to spread the trees out a little bit so that they're not in line with each other. In the Brush Settings panel, Scatter section, set the value for the U scatter amount to 400 and then press Enter. You'll see that the trees no longer run directly along the path, but are offset to either side, giving a slight more random look to the placement of the trees. Now that we've created a small area of forest, let's go ahead and save the file incrementally. Click on the Application button. Click Save As from the drop-down menu. In the Save File As dialog, click the Increment on Save button to save the file with an incremental file name. If you're asked to overwrite a file, go ahead and overwrite it.